On this episode, we're gonna talk about the bike of Marek Konwa, a pro Polish rider. We've got a bike which is specifically made, tuned up for cross-country. Marek, you said you like full suspension bikes. Tell us about this bike. Why this model and what have you replaced? Because this bike is far from being the catalog or stock model. I've been riding Trek for a while now. Since for the last 2 years I've been riding for Scott Polska on the Scott. So we get the bikes, but then we can change some components. I like the light parts, light components, but the super lights sometimes weren't very good for me. So the bike cannot be too light. Yeah. It cannot fall apart, so it cannot be so light so it would fall apart. Your bike weighs between 9.5 9.7 kilograms. He says, yeah, it's 9.5. We're waiting for the new Schwalbe tires, which will be even lighter. But 9.5 for full suspension bike, 29 is good. Okay, let's start with the tires then, because this is interesting. You've got the Racing Ralph at the front, the older model, with the one, yeah, this one is the older generation, still with the addicts. Marek explains, but there will be a new one, Racing Ralph, Racing Ray. You've seen the review on my channel. So Marek has been waiting for that, had been waiting at that time. So the front, the older Racing Ralph, 225, and the rear Thunderbirds with the red compound. So the front softer, the rear harder compound, and this is the setup he used in the Albstadt super muddy race this year, cross country World Cup. I think Marek was top 20 there, something like that. So it was amazing. What tire pressure for Nowe Mesto? 145 at the front, 1.6 at the rear. I've seen many riders here hitting the rocks with the rims. Marek says, I'm gonna have, this is a bit more for me because I don't need that much traction. You've got some new pedals, yes, since for the last month. These are the Look X Truck, the new model. You can buy it from 2019. Last year it was the S-Track. These are a little bit heavier. Same clipping system as Shimano. You can use Shimano cleats for these ones, but the platform gives you much more support for your feet, and how easy you can clip in, clip out in the mud is much better. This is about 340 grams, so same like the XDR. There will be also the lighter model with the titanium axle. It will be like 40 grams lighter, and you're gonna get those, probably, yes. The drivetrain, we've got the Eagle, but the chainring is not from SRAM. It is the absolute black 36T oval. I'm asking, Marek, would you agree that 36 oval means like 37 standard? He said, yeah, I would agree. So you've got the power. Marek smiles. You've been riding absolute black for a couple of seasons. He said, yes, I've been using these since they just released. It is the Polish brand. They designed this chainring and then other brands started using those. That's what Marek says. So this is the absolute black. One of the best chainrings in terms of the anodizing and the materials. You can ride on these for a whole season. And that's what I like, Marek says. On other chainrings are so soft it's difficult to use it for a whole season. I'm using the 36 because with the 50 teeth the rear. I can ride everywhere, even in the mountainous region of Beskide in Poland, Marek says. So it's enough for him. So 36 oval by 50. So most of the races you are doing on this training. Yes, 36. You've got also the grips from Absolute Black. He said, yes, these are the new ones. Very comfortable. These cuts on these are very, very good. You've got good grip, and the vibration absorption is very, very well on these. These are not the lightest one, but comparable to the SE grips many riders use now. So Absolute Black grips as well. We've got Scandium from KCNC. On the seat post, very light. What's your height and the frame size? He says 17.5 frame size, and he's 176 centimeters tall. He says he's got longer legs, that's why you can see the seat post pretty stretched out, so the long one. 70.5 frame size. He said, I think he said 180 grams of the weight for the seat post. You don't use this dropper post. Maybe I will try someday. I said it's nothing new for you because you've been racing enduro as well. He said yes. The question about the saddle: do you level the saddle or you put the tip of the saddle downwards? He says this is full suspension bike, so I'm putting the tip of the saddle down because when I sit on the bike, it will kind of be leveled. Normally, I would I would set the saddle a little bit upwards with the tip. But this is down for the full suspension bike. When you sit on the sack, it will level. Tune stem, beautiful tune stem, and the rear hump. You've been mixing different components, I say. He says, yes, I have a couple of different pairs of wheels. I'm not replacing the tires because I want to have those just perfectly sealed up. So I'm just swapping different wheels, and the tires are always on. This is the No Limited Polish brand also. They lace those wheels on their rims, carbon rims, and did this with hubs. It's all made in China. You've got all the rims of carbon? He said yes, I no longer use alloy rims. He said now my wheelset weighs between 1150 up to 1300 grams. 720 millimeters of the width of the handlebars. Handlebars also from Tune. It's a flat one. And then also the bottle cage from Tune, super light one. We're laughing, it's -7 grams for the bike. He's not weighing all the parts, says I don't have time for that, but all the parts are just pretty light. I replaced the rock shocks with the Fox fork, which is 200 grams lighter, and I think it's working a little bit better. I haven't been riding the new seat, but this one is very good. You've got Kashima. What about the stiffness? I complain a little bit about the stiffness. Marek says, no, with my weight, I don't really feel as if it was soft. It was said that Nino Schurter is using his lockout about 110, 120 times over one race. What about you? He says, same here. When it's only possible, I do it. Then my question. On this longest climb here in Nowe Mesto, do you lock it out or not? He says, I have two different modes here, trail and full lockout. So the trail mode, which is just hardened a little bit, I use the trail mode at the beginning of that climb because there are some roots, and then when it becomes quite good ground, I lock it out completely. And then SRAM level ultimate. Brakes. What pads are you using? He says they were resin out of the box, but I use metallic, which lasts longer. For example, on the muddy races. One additional thing, some chain guard. There was some screw on his chain guard. He says, well, the chain guard didn't really fit my oval chainring, so I just mounted an additional bolt so that the chain won't go up to the top of the chain rings of the teeth. Good luck on Sunday, Nowe Mesto. Bye bye. Guys, thanks for hanging out with me. Remember to join our forum.sigbiker.com, where we discuss all the topics, training, service, any issues with the bikes. If you want to share anything with us, join our Facebook group. All the links are below. And if you want to join my patrons, feel free to do so. And now, okay, you might watch just 1 or 2 episodes more, but then let's go and ride.